Yes, hello and welcome to the live stream. It's me, Gary, and this is Watch Along Leeds, and this is my take on the weekend's action, Talk Leeds, where we discuss everything that's happened, everything that's about to happen, and are those things going to happen? I'm going to start the stream by saying a couple of thank yous, and the first one is, of course, TDT, the disabled team, and perhaps some of you knew or know that I actually joined the disabled team for that game against Tottenham. Stu over there, I'd like to thank him, and Teach from the Nosy Neighbour, as Liam as well, and a couple of other people as well. So let me just sort that audio out. I think we're good now on the audio. And yeah, of course, it was a difficult day. I thought it would have been a difficult day. I didn't think for a second that it was going to be easy. I thought that Spurs were going to be a lot better than what we were in the match preview that I made. I got the correct result, so yay to me. What about that game? Well, I'm going to go discuss that a little bit later. Talk a little bit about that game. It wasn't very pleasant, but like I say, we'll talk about that. Where do I see we are? Perhaps you can see the description. I'm just going to talk a little bit about the description here at the moment. State of play as I see it, where the club is, what needs to happen, where did it go wrong, some ideas about perhaps where it went wrong as well. Season in review, a very, very brief look back at the season, some of the highlights. We'll try and keep that a bit positive, I think. And the rebuild, structuring the club for success. So, of course, if you want to join me on the stream, you should know what to do by now. There is a link in the description. There is also a link in the chat. I believe you should be able to access that. But if you do have any problems, let me know, and I'll try and sort those out as best as I possibly can, because let me tell you, live streaming, man, anything could go wrong at any time. Before we get to item number one, I've got a few things to say to the chairman, and this is just a little message. Dear chairman, dear Mr. Radrazani, and we know that you are a very busy guy, and that you're handling a lot of different matters in your businesses across the world in various different areas, and this whole alleged Sampdoria buyout in association with QSI is ongoing, but our club should be your matter of urgent priority to have your full attention. At this point, it's a number of Leeds fans, not a few, I won't say. Most Leeds fans are very, very disappointed with the way that you've behaved over the last few weeks, even more so on the last day of the season. The fact that you didn't turn up to the match, there were no match notes, there's been no specific written apology from yourself, are three key areas that Leeds fans are now looking at and discussing your reputation with our club, and it would be a shame for you to depart, should you depart, on sour terms with the Leeds United fans, the Leeds United family, and the motto that you gave to us during your tenureship. Perhaps that tenureship is ongoing, side before self every time, and it doesn't appear that way to the Leeds fans at the moment. My advice to you, Mr. Radrazani, if you are listening, Mr. Chairman, if you see this stream at any point, number one, head back to Leeds. Get back to Leeds and show that you are the chairman. Start helping the club to prepare for next season. We have 66 days. those 66 days are going to be flying by very, very quickly. If you didn't already know, season begins 4th of August. And it's going to be a Friday night match by the look of it. And more than likely, Leeds are probably going to be featuring as the one of the head or one of the attraction games, the big games of that weekend, that weekend's opening fixture list. Number 2, when you do arrive back in Leeds, you need to have a sit down and a constructive interview, perhaps discuss in an open forum with either the trust, a number of fans, perhaps the press, the Athletic, or using the vast amount of media experience and exposure that you have to put over your points. Tell us exactly what happened. What were the decisions that led to where we are? How did we get to where we are? The whole thing with Jesse Marsh. But prior to that, the backing of him in the transfer window. The signings that were made. How did those processes happen? Then we get on to Victor Orta. Is it true that you left Victor Orta in charge to run the club on your behalf? And to what degree was that happening? What decisions was Victor Orta making in your absence? You know, quite often people put people in charge and say, just get on with it and run it for me. That's it. That's all you want. Someone who you trust. Victor Orta, did you trust him? How was that relationship? Leeds fans have a lot of questions for you personally about what the relationship has been between the two of you and the other board members over the last 12 months. Some of it I understand you're not going to want to discuss. I completely get that. But finally, and most importantly, I think that the Leeds fans are owed an apology. You've brought the checkbook to Leeds United. You've spent the best part of 6 years developing and investing in the club, and it would be a great shame to see the club end up in a couple of years' time like Sampdoria because of your lack of absence of leadership. Or should that be the case, or shouldn't it be the case? You can let me know what you think, chat. These are my thoughts, these are my opinions. So, Mr. Radrazani, I very much look forward to seeing some action from you this week, because at the moment we have a club that is completely rudderless. There's nobody there making any decisions. There's no sign of any development, even 48 hours after the relegation, that anything is changing at Leeds. We still have a manager who allegedly wants the job. Nobody knows if that's the case or not. It's just all waffle in the press at the moment, with people sensationalising and creating ridiculous sensationalistic headlines. Quite a lot of these, I suspect, have no basis in fact. You know, you've got a lot to explain at the moment, in my opinion, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of Leeds fans, if they are out there and they do happen to stumble up against this video, they probably will agree with me that, you know, we're in this situation and everybody sat there blaming the players, but all of those roads do lead back to you. You can't just wash your hands of the club, walk away, buy another club, and completely forget about what's going on at Elland Road, because at the moment there's no certainty, there's no clarity. Obviously we've not heard anything from the 49ers, so it's a very confusing situation, and the confusion's even worse with the fact that we've been relegated and we've gone down with a whimper into the Championship. So please come back and give us the clarification that we need. Thank you very much for listening to this little opening statement. Right, we shall move on. Message for the chairman over. I mean, there's chances are 1,000,000 to 1, but the reason I speak like this is because it is alleged that he does go around a number of Leeds United streamers, YouTubers, and that kind of thing, and he does make contact with them. The chances are very, very minuscule, and I hope that he does see it, and I hope that he does have a moment of conscience to think, oh Christ, I've put all of that in, and now it's very, very quickly going down the rattle. Make no mistake, if this doesn't get sorted out, these matters that we have on our Ellard Road, if it doesn't get sorted out fairly quickly, but more importantly, the time and due diligence has been taken to, right, okay, here's the plan of action, here's how we're going to win the championship next season. If these questions aren't sorted out and the plan isn't in place quickly, we're going to end up in a situation where a manager's appointed at the last minute, prior to this, to the pre-season, or possibly even after pre-season. He then has very little time to implement his playing style. He has very little time to get his own players in, get rid of the players who want out. Then what you've got to do is merge and develop that squad so that the players know each other and they are able to play together. We don't want a situation where we're waiting 10 games before we get a win in the championship, because by then it'll be too late. So these matters, in my opinion, need sorting out with a matter of urgency, and the only person that can do that is Radrazani, in the absence of any visible figure of authority from the 49ers, because at the moment, we're hearing a lot of stuff is happening in the background with the 49ers, but we don't know who's responsible for these decisions. We don't know what their degree of input is. As far as I understand, they are still the minority shareholder in the club. So there's a lot to be sorted out before we even kick a ball. On the 4th of August, and I'm pretty sure that we'll end up being the first fixture. Stand by. Yes, no problem. If you ought to study, man, Josh, no problem at all. Go right ahead. I think that our state of play is disgusting. We could not keep the ball against Spurs in midfield, and Harrison was the only one who gave 110%. I thought Rodrigo did as well. Let's just wind back a little bit to that game. Unfortunately, when I had, just as it was about to kick off, my whole computer froze up, like literally the whole thing, so I had to reboot everything. And by the time I'd done that and got back on, Harry Kane had netted his first goal, so I haven't actually seen the first goal from Harry Kane. I mean, it's something that I would like to just maybe react to. Dare I say it, but I mean, I had that prediction down at 4-1, and I thought when I saw the lineup, I thought, you know what, that's quite a good lineup. I don't mind that we're going a bit defensive, and that he's got 6 recognised defenders out on the field. He's put 2 of them in midfield. Sorry, on the field, he's put 2 of them in midfield. And the reason for that is obvious. We're up against the Premier League's second best striker, England international, Harry Kane. Hasn't failed to score on the final day for over 6 seasons. So I don't mind that at all. I think it looked quite a good lineup, to be honest with you. And I think, we've got a bit of limitation with what we can do. I'm surprised he didn't put Nonto on. But that said, maybe he just wants to protect Nonto a little bit. He doesn't want him to be overall by the sense of occasion. He's still only 19 years old. It's a massive, massive event, massive, massive game. If he goes on and gets nobbled in the first few minutes, he's out. He's out for the for the beginning of next season. That is if we manage to retain him. And of course, I hope more than anybody that we manage to retain Wilfred Gnonto, because the guy is utter quality. He really, really is. He's got an eye for a good pass. He's got the power, pace, precision, and he can hit the back of the net, inside the box, outside the box. Strong, can bully defenders. I am really excited for his career, and I hope his career is with Leeds United next season. Let's make no mistake. But a lot of these players, I think, man, Josh, they're going to be looking at the Championship. Oh, I don't fancy it. And they'll just leave. They've got clauses in the contract that basically stipulate if the club gets relegated to the league below, then the player is entitled to leave, and that's called a release clause. So the club then have to release that player to another club. Now, there's a few problems with that. Number one, which club is going to come in? Money seems to be a bit of a problem. Even in the Premier League, these clubs are tightening the belts. They're not that keen on blowing big money on one player, unless you've got, bottomless pit supplies worth of support from the backers, the FSGs, the Saudis, the whatever they are, the Qataris, the Emiratis, these people who are bankrolling these Premier League clubs, the big guns. Notice that all of them finished pretty much in the top six, and they've got extreme wealth compared to what we have. We're quite a sizable club, but we're not big. We're not a big club compared to some of these gargantuans. I've been to them all the top six, and they're all bigger than us. Manchester United, Liverpool, Arsenal. Newcastle now. You have to put Newcastle there. They are seriously backed. So I don't know. We would have to play the stadium of light, the Den, Cardiff City, Deepdale, Vicarage Road, and Huddersfield, of course. Radrazani and Orta will never know what was going on between them. That's why I had that opening statement. Man, Josh, there's no doubt in my mind that he must come back to Leeds. He's got unfinished business. He's still the majority shareholder. And, he has got to give an interview, or for me, a statement just doesn't do it. And that waffle that they published on the club website, which I put a copy of, and I made a brief comment in my community tab, an unsigned statement. And nobody knows who made that statement. It's just, let's just, maybe use a bit of AI or something like that. We'll just get it drafted up, publish it, and that's it. It'll shut the fans up for a bit. Most fans won't even realise. But there's no attribution to it. And attribution means that we know who it's come from. There's no videos, there's no discussion, nothing. And, Radrazani has got a lot of questions to answer. 2 in the chat at the moment, according to me. One of them's me. It was 4 a bit ago. But yeah, I think he's got a lot to say. He's got a lot to say, and I think Leeds fans, if we just get some answers, it'll make things a little bit better to swallow. It's number one. Number two, there's a lot of business that needs to be sorted out. What are we going to do with Sam Allardyce? Is he staying? Is he going? he doesn't even know if he's staying or he's going. And there was a 22-minute press conference post-match in which he pretty much said, it depends whether the club wants me or not. He wouldn't really comment on whether he wanted the job or not. I think he probably does. I think he enjoys being back in the game. Now, before he joined us, he had 4 wins in his previous 30 games. He had 4 games as manager for us. Didn't win any of them. And we should have done. All right. I'm not saying that for a second is Sam's fault, because he's right. We lack the quality. We lack the quality in the vital areas, and you could improve players, but in the amount of time he had, the improvement is likely to be marginal. Some of them say, if we believe what Luke Ayling says, a lot of them are mentally fit, probably mentally drained, more than anything. I think it's been a very tough, horrible season to have. And what have we had? 7 wins this season? That's it, out of 38 games. There's no wonder that the confidence is through the floor. It really is. It's been a tough one. Harry Kane. I mean, what could he say about Harry Kane? I thought to myself, the players get 50% pay decrease, would not want to stay, but then who would go to... Well, look, I look at it this way. If for some reason I went to work tomorrow and they said, we want to give you a 50% pay decrease, I'd just be like, well, why don't you just fire me? Because I'll leave. There's no way I'm going to tolerate that. Now, I know and I understand that footballers are on big money anyway, right? So if we take Rodrigo, it's reported that Rodrigo's on 100,000 a week at Leeds. Rightfully so. I think he's netted 15 times for us this season. I think if we count all competitions, and that's in a bad Leeds side. He's had injuries and and I understand that. But I think if it had been in a good Leeds side, had a decent midfield behind him, decent manager, decent defence, he should have been 20 plus easily, quite easily. I mean, Harry Kane 30, Haaland 36. It's a phenomenal return, is that, for a season. Incredible. Go ahead, off you go. No problem if you make it back later. Don't worry, it's okay. Right, so we move on. The state of play as I see it. And as I see it, Radrazani has got to get back to Leeds and get things moving. Whether it's the sale. It's rumoured to be completing on the 14th of June. I mean, I don't know why it's taking so long. It surely should just be a case of, right, let's get the paperwork, the contract's drafted up. You're going to relinquish all your shares. We're going in, and you can do one. You can leave, do whatever you like with Sampdoria. But I mean, this whole relegation scenario now is costing him tens, if not hundreds, of millions of pounds. Because he's going to have to accept a lower price for the club. The Championship money is going to be nothing like the Premier League money that they get. Therefore, the revenues that the 49ers can expect, if they proceed with the purchase, are going to be far, far lower than what they would get in the Premier League otherwise. So he's going to have to accept a lot less. But that said, he is going to turn a decent profit on it. He's going to turn a decent profit on Leeds. I had a look at this earlier on, just about that purchase, and it seems to me that he's going to do a decent profit. I mean, I'd like to just say to some Leeds fans that we all have short memories, me included, right? So if I forget something, and something else comes along, the later thing supersedes the earlier thing. Let's not forget he did buy the ground back. I might be right in saying he did buy the ground back from, I think, was it the council or Chileno? Some people might not remember the days where we were an almost bankrupted club. We had to literally sell everything, including the kitchen sink, to try and play off the creditors. That put the club back a long, long time, over a decade, with all of that. So the thing is from a lot of our points of view, is to see all of that hard work undone very quickly is going to be very, very disappointing. And the other thing as well is we are on a slide at the moment. We're on the top of the slide. And if you imagine, if we don't get our appointments right, the recruitment right, the dithering, the dilly-dallying, the uncertainty, there is a chance that we could blink and we'll be talking this time in 12 months and we'll be going down to the first division. Alright? That's what everybody wants to avoid. Now I can hear some people saying, that'll never happen. It'll never happen. We're in great shape with this, with that, with this, with that. If the 49ers aren't well advised, or if Radrazani starts getting arrogant again, there is every chance that can happen. No doubt at all. The league never lies, and if we don't get our act together pretty quick, we've got 66 days. Right? That's before the kick-off. All of this stuff needs to be sorted out this month, in my opinion. We need a new manager in. We've got to get the chairman out if he wants to leave, if he wants to sell. Do we need a director of football? Well, yes. It depends how hands-on the 49ers want to be. So far, I don't see that they have been hands-on. Right? They've just sat in the background and pretty much agreed or disagreed with a number of things that have been going on at the club. The Harrison sale, apparently that was blocked. The Rutter signature, signing Rutter has had something to do with the 49ers. They have probably signed off on that. They would have had to. I mean, even though they're minority, they're still the ones who are going to be partially bankrolling the club's activities at this time. So we have to make sure that we're getting everything right. It just seems to me that we're not all pulling in the right direction or in the same direction. We don't seem to have any cohesion at the moment, and the club is literally, slowly but surely, falling apart right before our very eyes. And papering over the cracks isn't going to fix the problem. And we need something. This is why I say we need some certainty. We need some definite answers. And we need a concrete plan. We want to see a concrete plan going forward. And I hope that the trust start making their feelings known, because as far as I can see, there's not been much said from the trust at the moment. They did have a couple of things to say from Orta, but there's nothing concrete yet. I mean, I don't know. Perhaps there has, and I haven't seen it. All right, I understand that. I can't see everything during the day. Where did it go wrong? We're sat. A lot of people are sat talking about player appointments. It's a managerial appointment. It's we knew that Bielsa's, in my opinion, Bielsa's style of football was failing. It was beginning to fail. We were getting found out. We were getting turned over heavily towards the end of his reign. All right, go back and look at the last 10 games, and that will tell me that there's something wrong. Is it Bielsa? Is it the players? And I think we all know that Bielsa was probably a bit stubborn, but very disciplined, and how can I say this? What's the best way of saying it? The guy's a man of principles, isn't he? The guy's a man of principles, and he's right, and everybody else is wrong. Um, so, in my opinion, that whole era was, for me. I mean, he's been great for us. He's absolutely great. Pure magic. The take. Yeah, it's just. It's just a shame that it came to an end for Bielsa. It was just such a terrible shame. I mean, we got. I'm just trying to find Bielsa's results, and maybe I can tell you who. Let's have a look. Seasons. If we go back, what was it? 2021. Yeah, it wasn't last season. So maybe that season there. We just seemed to be a bit predictable. He didn't really have the squad to cope. We had a lot of injuries, and some people will say, well, you know, the reason we had all those injuries were his training regime. All right, his training regime. If we go back as far as we can, I mean, I can't see those. We lost against Liverpool 12th of September 2020. Hull didn't beat Hull. That was a draw. Carabao Cup. Beat Fulham. Beat Sheffield United. Drew with Man City. I think that in the season after then, isn't it? It was difficult. It's difficult when you're live streaming. You've got to have all the answers. But Marsh was in charge there, wasn't it? It was the previous season. Yeah, there we are. We got pumped, didn't we? I remember us getting pumped there. Was that Liverpool 6-0? Something like that. May 2022. And he's not, difficult to see really. So lost 4-0 at Spurs, 6-0 at Liverpool, 2-4 at Manchester United, 3-0 Everton, and 3-3 Aston Villa. Then we get into March. Things don't get any better. We lost against Leicester, lost against Aston Villa 3-0, beat Norwich, beat Wolves. So it was about that time we got pumped by Man City 4-0, and we were regularly getting beat, weren't we? Towards the end of Bielsa's reign, and it wasn't just a marginal defeat. It was usually a bit of a pumping. So for me, I think that For me, I think that we have to do our due diligence and make sure that we make the right appointment. It has to be somebody who has experience of the Championship. It has to be somebody who knows how to wheel and deal, get players in quickly, get them out quickly. Loan market's going to be more important than anything else. It's going to be as important as it was back then in that Championship season. Get these loan players back, all of them, assess them. What did we do with Tyler Roberts, by the way? I think he's gone, hasn't he, Tyler Roberts? But I don't know. You could tell me, chap. Maybe you can let me know about that. I think it has just been a terrible time for everybody in and around the club, hasn't it? I understand. It's just, I've been here. I've seen all this sort of stuff before. That Tottenham result was absolutely pathetic. But it wasn't. it wasn't just. It's not just one event, is it? I mean, but everybody's going to say, and I completely agree. I hope Patrick Bamford's having cold sweats about the penalty miss against Newcastle, and that miss against Leicester, and you think, right, he gets those two going. We're not even having this conversation. In fact, we're not even talking about the Championship. We're just wondering who's coming up from the Championship. Back in August, we beat Wolves, drew with Southampton, so that's 4 points. Beat Chelsea at home. Then we're at Carabao Cup, beat Barnsley. Brighton lost away at Brighton and drew with Everton. So that's 1, 4. Hang on, 1, 4, 5, 7 points. Had 7 points in August. You're looking at that, you're thinking, oh, you know what, it's going to be all right. Then it's September. Not much happens in September. So what was the reason there then? That's not World Cup, is it? You'll have to refresh my mind on that. But we got pumped at Brentford 5-2. Then we drew at Villa. We come back into October then. Villa's like it's 0-0. So that's another point. Palace, we go to Palace, lose again. Then we lose at Arsenal 1-0. And I mean, at this point, I'm starting to do these watch-alongs, right? Because I'm thinking, you know what, I enjoy doing these, and I'm having a bit of fun, and I'm meeting some new people, and my life isn't terrific. I don't have any friends where I live. When I say friends, people who I go out and socialise with. I've got a 1-year-old, and he consumes a lot of my time at the minute. So, this is why I really enjoy doing what I do. All right, this is the main reason. We lose again at Liverpool. Oh, sorry, we beat Liverpool again. Then in Premier League on 29th of October. So what's gone on there? Have I overlooked something? Have I missed that? Have I missed something there? No, I haven't. But we beat Liverpool, and it's just like, whoa, man, what? We're beating like Liverpool, but then on the 20th of October, we lose to Leicester. It's so under Marsh, it wasn't actually that bad, right? Everybody's saying, "Oh, we need to get rid of him." He's had a really, really good start there. Got us a lot of points, but then as the time goes by, we beat Bournemouth, 4-3. That's in November, on November the 5th. But then we lose Wolves. It's Carabao Cup. Nobody really cares about that, do they? But then we lose at Spurs, so that's 2 losses on the bounce. And then that's where the rot really starts getting bad for us, doesn't it? Because we lose at that's the game I attended, 28th of December. And we lose at home against Man City 3-1. Newcastle Leeds 0-0. Great, we get a point up at St James's. That's a really good point, is that? We get another couple of draws. World Cup happens in that November, doesn't it? I think. It's just afterwards. So, because all World Cup gets wrapped up before Christmas, right? So, then we get to January. We've got draw against West Ham, draw Cardiff FA Cup, lose again against Villa, 5-2 Cardiff, beat them. So January's a good month, right? Accrington and Stanley beat them. I'm thinking, bloody hell, there's a chance here we might go on and win the FA Cup. And I remember doing the watch-alongs for all those games as well. And it was just a phenomenal time. I'm thinking, you know what, we're all right. And it just started, I think probably February, doesn't it? It starts getting a bit bad for us. Nottingham, we'll lose against Nottingham. I remember watching that Nottingham Forest game. I'm thinking, how the bloody hell have we lost that? But you see, Nottingham Forest, they'll just put 10 men all day in their own 18-yard box. And you want to come and score a goal, you're going to need a bit of luck. And we just didn't get it. Man United, at this point, then, they've sacked him. Right? They've sacked him. So, you sat there thinking, actually, we weren't doing that bad. We weren't doing all that bad. You know, alright, we were picking up these draws and stuff like that. We'd had a couple of losses. I mean, Aston Villa, you expect that you might go there and struggle to get a result. And it makes me wonder, now looking back at this, had we kept with Marsh, we'd have been alright, I think. Because we hadn't actually lost that many games. Right? We hadn't actually lost that many games at all. And the games that we did lose, yeah, alright, the difficult games, they're away. Places like Nottingham Forest. Aston Villa, a side that Unai Emery's done unbelievable things with. Great coach, by the way. Newcastle, get a draw up there. We do alright. Man City. I mean, when we were playing Man City, I thought, you know, that's not a bad result against them, because they're likely to go on and win title this year. And we sack him. So you're thinking, oh great, we've sacked him. What next? You know, who's coming in? And it turns out we don't even have a replacement manager. So he puts Skabala in, Armes and all these other guys. And this is where I'm making YouTube shorts. I'm thinking, I don't believe I'm seeing what I'm seeing. I'm not going to say Jesse Marsh was the best coach in the world. No way. Not a chance. Did I agree with his style of football? No. Not a chance. The stats show our season, I think we've had 66% of our attacking third has been through the middle. Alright, over 66%. So when you look at the areas of play, and this is why everybody, because it's not normal for Leeds, isn't that? You know, I remember the days you'd listen to Norman Hunter, and Norman Hunter would always say, well, you know, you gotta get it wide, get down the byline as far as you can, and get a bit of width in, cross it in, and try and get a bit of space between these defenders, and you know, blah blah blah. That's kind of what Leeds have always had. You know what I mean? And then we go on. I mean, it's just out of this world that we've sacked that. I couldn't believe that we'd sacked him. I mean, I didn't think we were brilliant, but we were a hell of a lot better under Marsh than we ended up finishing under Allardyce, and I won't blame Allardyce for that. So the big breakdown is has to be Grathia, doesn't it? I mean, we weren't getting pumped under Marsh. That's the thing. That's the annoying thing. We weren't getting pumped under Jesse Marsh. In fact, it were us doing the pump. I mean, when we went to Cardiff, when we beat Cardiff at home, and we beat them away, didn't we? Drew with them away. I thought, oh God, we're going to get them to Elland Road, and we're just going to be crap. And we pumped them 5-2. I always get the heebie-jeebies when we play Cardiff, because I think it's an awkward bloody side, that lot. Fierce fans down there, aren't they? It's a horrible place to go. And I thought, you look back. I mean, he hadn't actually done too bad, hadn't Marsh? Compared to where we finished up, we were, Jesus Christ, honestly. So we get then into right. Okay, we've lost at Forest away. They're gonna defend all day. They picked us off with one break, and that was it. Another couple of chances missed as well, I think. Bamford got a bit of flack while he were down there. I remember that. We'll draw at Man United. So at this moment, I'm thinking, we've got a new coach, temporary coach. He's done nothing to the side. He's got no new players in. He's gone to Old Trafford and got us a draw. He's got us a point. Then we get back to Ellen Road, and this is where it starts going wrong, doesn't it? We lose against Man United. Then we go to Everton and lose there. Then we beat Southampton. Then we beat Fulham. Then we lose to Fulham. So that's February done, and I'm like, I'm thinking here we've got Grathia, haven't we? This is Grathia who's coming in at this point. So you're thinking we're not looking like a bad side. We're not looking like a bad side at all. We're still picking up the odd point. We're not doing too bad. But Grathia's got this. He had this calculation that if we carry on just getting a point on it, I think he had 11 games. He got 11 points, didn't he? And if he'd have carried on, we would have been we would have hit 38 points if he could have carried that on for the rest of the season. March comes around and it starts getting bad in March, doesn't it? You think that, but actually we get a draw, we get a win, and we lose at Chelsea. I mean, we went to Chelsea, we should have won that game. There's another game we should have definitely won. 1-0 against Chelsea, 2-2 Brighton and at home against Brighton. That was a good game. We played really well there, because I thought we were probably going to get hammered. Then the dreaded month, the worst month that you could possibly have ever had in football, and it's Arsenal 4-1. Beat Forest at home 2-1. Then at this moment, 9th of April, and this is where we start losing our mind, and the wheels fall off, don't they? The wheels fell off, and I'm just sat there thinking, I can't believe that this is happening. I can't believe it. We didn't look too bad, throughout this season. We were picking up results, we're doing all right, and then we get pumped at home 5-1 against Crystal Palace. Then you think, okay, maybe it was just a blip. Maybe the players aren't on it or something like that. I remember that half time thinking we went in at 1 apiece. I'm thinking, we're all right. We're giving this lot a run for the money. There are a few places ahead of us in the league. They're struggling as well. All the stats are pointing to they're quite a weak side, Palace. So, we should be able to open them up this second half, get a win here, and then they go and not smash us with another 4 goals in second half. Unbelievable. Liverpool, same thing. So there's something gone on, and this is where all the speculation comes, isn't it? Because we're sure that something has gone on in that dressing room, in that game, at half time. Something's been said, and there's been a falling out between these players. And like anything else, when there's a falling out like that, to that scale, you either take one side or the other. It's difficult to sit on the bench and try and be a peacemaker in a team of 11 men, innit? But nobody's been there to save the day, I don't think. And Grathia, I don't think, has really known what to do with them. That's my thought, my take on it. I could be wrong. It's going to be interesting if some of these players come out now and say, after they've left, yeah, you know what, we were in the crystal, but 99% of them won't, because they're professional footballers. It's not the professional sportsmanly thing to do, is it? Slate your old colleagues. Liverpool lose again 6-1 at home. Fulham 2-1, lose away. Draw against Leicester. And then Bournemouth get pumped down at Bournemouth. Now we know what May is still fresh in our minds. Lose against Man City. Draw against Newcastle. This is where we've got Sam Allardyce in it. Last 4 games. So Grathia's gone at this point. Allardyce is in. And you sat there thinking, Jesus Christ, what an utter roller coaster. And I was sat there thinking, uh, you know, we get beat by West Ham, we do all right, and then second half it's a total mess. Same again at Spurs, but I mean that was a little bit different. Harry Kane got the first one there for them. So it's just been an utter show and a half, hasn't it? It really has. Rodrigo was the most highest goal scorer, 15 goals, followed by Luis Sinisterra Bamford with 6 goals. Jack Harrison with 6. Number 1 for yellow cards was Willie Gnonto, followed by Rocker, Robin Koch, and then McKennie. Gnonto got 9 yellows. Tyler Adams got a red. Firpo got a red, and so did City. So yeah, there we go. Yeah, yellow cards, red cards. We're not too bothered about that. It's just so disappointing. I am really disappointed with this. Just so disgusted with it. But as we're speaking right now, and this is breaking news on Sky Sports, that it just says that Radrazani is in advanced negotiations to sell Leeds, and it's a revised deal with the 49ers. We'll have a little look at that before we go on there. So I thought that something would be going on behind the scenes. I've thought it for a little while. His absence has been quite pronounced. We've all known that there's something going on. They're saying, quote unquote, 2 days later, the long discussed takeover is hanging in the balance, with Radrazani still deciding whether or not to pull the trigger on the sale. Sources have indicated to Sky Sports News that it's still expected to be completed, and once it has, there is a plan in place for Radrazani to oversee the transition period with the new ownership, alongside Chief Executive Angus Kinnear. Kinnear is expected to stay on his role at least until the end of this up-and-coming season. And the top of the agenda will be new appointments, head coach and sporting director. Middlesbrough's Kieran Scott is mentioned, and Genk's Dimitri De Conde is mentioned as 2 possible candidates for sporting director or director of football, whatever you want to call it. The club will act quickly to secure the new hierarchy in order to advance the plans for next season, including pre-season training, squad turnover in the transfer market, and they will need to do so with a fellow high-profile relegated clubs, Leicester, Southampton, who are already embarking their plans. Kieran Maguire says there will be an impact that has been factored in the price the 49ers were willing to pay. Radrazani is looking to buy Sampdoria. I think we'll see an announcement in terms of Leeds Accelerate. Yeah, I hope all this stuff gets sorted out as soon as possible. Like literally soon, this week it has to be sorted out, because if it drags on any longer than that, I think we're going to find ourselves in a spot of bother. So there we go. That's the season in review. Rebuild and structuring for success. Who's in and who's out? Well, I mean, there's nobody in with me at the minute, so I might leave that for another video because I've done an hour already, and it's starting to get a little bit late over here. So yeah, let's leave that for the next time. There's no one in, so there we go. Well, thank you very much if you did join, or if you did catch up and watch it on the replay. You're now in the loop, so to speak. You're now up to speed with everything that's going on at Leeds. I'm going to be pumping out some short form videos, I think, about the transfer market, who should stay, who should go. I've got a couple of ideas for that. Of course, if you're new to my channel, perhaps you'd like to really help me by maybe subscribing. It's free. or I'll leave another little video here for you to have a watch. And that always helps my channel grow as well. Remember, if you want to smash the like button or comment, I do try and reply to all comments, so feel free. Maybe you agree, maybe you disagree. Always interested to hear, but try and use the timestamp feature when you do comment, and then that makes it easier for people to find the comment and reply to your comment, if that makes sense. All the very best to you. Marching down together, we'll be alright in the Championship. Good things are coming, I'm sure. All the best. See you next time.